Doing the pandemic pivot with a little help from digital. I'm Tonya Hall, and joining me is Chris Brandt, Chief Marketing Officer for Chipotle Mexican Grill. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks, Tanya. Well, happy to be here.
2020 hasn't been kind to the restaurant industry, has it?
No, I think if you were rating 2020, you'd give it 1 star, do not recommend, would give it 0 stars if I could, right?
Wow, so accurate. Chipotle is different in that you work with so many fresh ingredients, right? It's not your typical kind of fast food. You're definitely fresh, healthier approach. How did COVID shutdown affect your supply chain and in-store inventory?
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think that one of the big differences between Chipotle and everybody else in our space is Chipotle is a real restaurant. And, we're bringing in fresh ingredients every single day. And the inside of a Chipotle in the morning looks much more like a farmer's market than any other place I've ever been, with bags of onions and whole avocados coming in and whole peppers. And then the team goes about, prepping using classic culinary techniques and cutting everything up and making stuff fresh every day. So that freshness, is a bit of a challenge from a supply chain standpoint. But the great news is our flows were uninterrupted, and our supply chain team just did a terrific job of making sure everything was available. And so we were really, really fortunate that we just didn't have any issues at all.
How did Chipotle use digital to offset some of the effects of the shutdown?
Yeah, the digital business, I would say, has been accelerated at least 3 years into the future, versus where we were. So the nice thing for Chipotle, I guess, the one thing that we identified even back in 2018 was that digital was where the action was in the restaurant business. So, we finished 2019 with digital being about 20% of our sales and about $1 billion in sales. And we made big investments in mobile pickup shelves and in our delivery business. And all of those paid off, certainly as we came into COVID. And so, as we sit here today, digital's almost half of our business, and we'll be well over $2 billion in digital sales for this year. So it's been a huge transformation. We went from 8 million loyalty members at the end of 2019 to more than 15 million as we sit here today. So it's a huge transformation, but it's very exciting for us. And given our consumer is generally a little bit younger, it's such a great database and such a great opportunity for us to continue to engage those digital consumers at Chipotle.
So that's a huge growth spurt, if you will. Did you make any changes to your app or website to accommodate the pandemic and such a large growth?
Yeah, the interesting thing is, one of the superpowers of Chipotle is we actually have a digital kitchen in almost every restaurant. So it's separate from the main line in the front. So one of the keys is we don't have to disrupt the main line in the front to accommodate digital orders sort of in the back. And but that digital system requires a lot more accuracy, and it's all digitized, when the order comes up. So it's a different kind of skill set for the employee than being on the front line where people are just kind of coming through and pointing. And so, the teams just did a superb job adapting to a business that, was doubling, if not more, in a short period of time. But that digital kitchen means, hey, we can accommodate all of the business in the front of the house, as well as a huge digital business without interrupting either one. And so a lot of brands will talk about opening a dark kitchen here or two. We basically have 2,700 of those dark kitchens because we have one in every single restaurant. And what that enables really for us is to really produce your food really, really quickly, and have it out there. And then we've really embraced not only third-party delivery, but you can get delivery on our own app. And we're getting delivery times among the fastest of all, in 30 minutes or so. Our food travels really well, it holds pretty well. So it's certainly been a big boon for us, especially with consumers that, half of our consumers are Gen Z or millennial. That's about twice the index of what consumers are for most fast casual restaurants. So, we've got some lemons with 2020, but we feel like we certainly have made lemonade with those as well.
How do you use consumer data to maybe help guide some of the decision making?
Yeah, our consumer insights group is fantastic. The other piece, with having so many people in our loyalty program. You know, we've more than doubled the number of folks. And when you have like 15 million people, that's more than the reach of Monday Night Football. And so we know those people's transactions, and I think that we can serve them up relevant content to them, not just about, you know, certainly the app is the quickest way to free Chipotle. By you accumulate points and you can buy, you know, free, you can get Chipotle for free, but we can engage consumers and we can tell them about the things that we did during COVID. So, you know, we gave out 200,000 burritos to healthcare workers. We've been a champion of racial justice with supporting places like National Urban League and Thurgood Marshall College Fund. And we've been able to tell people more about the brand and our real ingredients and our real food and our help for farmers, in addition to just the things about, you know, earning points for using Chipotle. So, you know, when you have more reach than Monday Night Football with your loyalty program, it makes us kind of a powerful media company in some ways. That's pretty exciting for us.
We mentioned this right off the bat, that the restaurant industry has had the most difficult challenges this year. What lessons did you learn in 2020, and what advice could you potentially pass along to other food service businesses to help them stay afloat?
Yeah, I think you can't underestimate the digital piece. And, you know, even when in-restaurant comes back, we still expect a lot of the digital consumers to stay with us. The other thing I would say is these digital consumers, the massive increase in millions and millions of new digital consumers that we got were just that, new consumers to the brand. So we thought when we first embarked on this digitization of Chipotle, if you will, and we did it because when we did a bunch of research when I first started at Chipotle in 2018, we asked consumers, what would make you come to Chipotle more often? And the most common answer was, build one near me. And so we're rapidly trying to build Chipotles. We're going to build 200 or more at least a year as we go forward. But what they really meant was, how do I get more access? And more access to a consumer that's Gen Z or millennial meant through digital. So that's why we put in the mobile pickup shelves in 2018. That's why we have an app that our technology folks have done, which we think is best in class. And, you know, that's why we embrace certainly third-party delivery with folks like DoorDash and Uber Eats and Grubhub. And we brought on Uber Eats and Grubhub here during the pandemic. So we really expanded the reach of that. So, but these digital consumers are new consumers. We thought that they might just be our existing consumers who would have another occasion in digital. They haven't served to be that. They've been kind of their own group. So the digital piece has been highly incremental, and we hope to hang on to all those digital consumers even as the restaurants open up and people come, you know, back inside the restaurants as hopefully we get over the hump with COVID-19.
Well, I'm going to put in my request for where I want the next Chipotle. Chris Brandt, Chief Marketing Officer for Chipotle Mexican Grill. If somebody wants to connect with you, Chris, maybe they want to find out more about your app or the work that you're doing, how can they do that?
So they should download the app. It's either on, you know, the Google Store or the App Store, and go to Chipotle.com. I'd especially take you to Chipotle.com/farmers, because you can see all the things we're doing for farmers. Farmers are in a real pickle, and, you know, the average farm lost money. The average farmer is 59, 60 years old, so it's harder to become a farmer than it has ever been. And we really want to help that next generation of farmers kick off. So, but Chipotle.com is your hub for everything. You can also find us on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter. We're all on Snapchat. We're all over them. We're the first restaurant brand actually to have 1 million followers on Twitter. So you should definitely check us out there.
All right. That sounds great. Thanks again, Chris.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And you can find more of my interviews right here or at TonyaHall.net. Thanks for watching.